The first step to avoiding your midlife crisis at a young age is to first of all ask yourself, why do you use social media? Is it to rot your brain with content, or is it because your friends use social media and you need to message them, or is it maybe you use it for, if you use Instagram, is it because you use it for dating purposes? Ask yourself those three questions. And if it's any of those three questions, ask the people that you're chatting to give you their number. If you're messaging a girl, let's say, and she's responding and she's responding on time, ask if she could give you her number and then message her using her number, whether that's with iMessage or WhatsApp or whatever you guys use. Ask her to give you your number, and if she refuses or if there's friction, then just don't chat to her. And if there's friction with any of the people that you talk to, just don't chat to them at all. Leave that shit. You don't need to delete Instagram. You don't need to delete your account. But what is helpful is deleting the app from your phone, or even going an extra step further and deactivating it. And then once you've deleted that digital poison, the next step is to shift your training style from bodybuilding to something more athletic. Maybe it's bodyweight calisthenics. Because the thing with the athletic training, when you train more like an athlete, the reason why it's so good is because it forces you not to fixate on your looks. And so that's why often you train like an athlete and you won't get body dysmorphia anymore, because you know truly what your body is capable of. You're not fixating on looks, therefore, if your looks aren't how you want them, then you've already failed your whole fucking goal of trying to look good. Whereas if you train like an athlete, not only will you obviously look aesthetic, but since you know what your body is truly capable of, you won't get body dysmorphia because you know that your body is functional as well. And so, if your mind hasn't been totally fucked up by all these Psalm Goblins physiques on Instagram explore pages or fucking TikTok reels or whatever that shit is, or YouTube shorts, then if you look at these athletic physiques, let's take gymnasts and boxers. If you take a look at a professional gymnast's physique or a professional boxer's physique, like let's say the heavyweight boxers, because they obviously have the most muscle out of the athletes that do the sport that they do. Gymnasts and heavyweight boxers, or like boxers that are in the heavier weight classes. You take a look at people from those two categories of sports and professional, then if your mind hasn't been fucked up by these unrealistic body expectations for men, then you will actually appreciate those physiques and you'll be like, holy shit, maybe I should have done workouts on the rings all this time. Maybe I should have trained like a gymnast or like a boxer or whatever the case may be. You'll be like, maybe I should have trained more like an athlete, because not only will you look fucking amazing, but you'll also have those athletic capabilities which you would have never have had if you just focus on aesthetics and gaining as much muscle in the right places to make you look aesthetic. When I turned 19 a few months ago, I was 75 kilos, and so I'm 5'8", so I was pretty thick for my height. And I still had remnants of like body dysmorphia left inside of me. I still felt shit about my physique, even though, you know, my physique was actually still pretty fucking impressive. But I still felt shit about it. I'd still get compliments on my physique. People would tell me, oh, you have such a nice physique, you have such a nice chest, you've got nice lats. And, they'd give me all these compliments, but I'd still feel shit about my physique. I still had little remnants of body dysmorphia still within me. Even though I knew back then that was like the biggest I ever was, I still didn't really feel good enough. I'd always feel like I'd need to get an arm pump in order to feel secure and truly happy about my physique. Then I decided to stop bodybuilding. I switched to boxing because, I kind of got bored of bodybuilding, I'm not gonna lie. I got bored of the training style. You know, you just lift weights as heavy as possible. Make sure you do minimum of like 5 or 6 reps. You know, I just got bored of that shit. I'm not gonna lie. So I started learning how to box. You know, I had friends that would teach me how to box and how to throw the punches correctly. And so, you know, I took it more seriously. Like I took bodybuilding seriously, but never intended to hop on stage and pose in front of a bunch of people and stand on stage with a bunch of slippery dudes. I decided to pick up boxing, but obviously with no intentions of becoming a pro boxer. But you know, I just took boxing more serious. Like I took bodybuilding serious back then, I just took boxing serious. And so obviously I didn't just, you know, do my heavy bag punches and that. I also learned the training style of Mike Tyson specifically, because Mike Tyson would do 500 reps of like push ups, 500 reps of shrugs, 500 reps of bench dips, and then like I think it was 1,000 sit ups and 1,000 squats. He would do those all in circuits. And so I started training a bit more like Mike Tyson. And so when I started doing that calisthenics, when I started and when I got into that style of training of calisthenics, of that athletic, like calisthenics training, where you do like hundreds of reps of an exercise and you do like circuits basically, I dropped 6 kilos. So I'm 69 kilos right now. Back then I was 75. And not only do I look fucking amazing right now, but I've got athleticism. I'm way more athletic than I was when I was bodybuilding. And that's a fucking win, I'm not gonna lie. If that's not a win, then I don't know what is, but that is a fucking win. You switched your training style to fit a sport. For me, it was boxing, but I did the calisthenics to become more athletic. And at the same time, I ended up looking better than when I was bodybuilding. So that's a double win. What's even crazier though is that the athletes don't give a fuck about their looks 100%. Maybe at most only 50%. Because at the end of the day, they're athletes, not guys that pose in underwear, not guys that oil themselves up on stage or in front of the camera and upload that shit on Insta when they do some posing or shit. You know, they train for a specific purpose for their own sport. They don't train to pose in front of a camera or to pose on stage with a bunch of other oiled up dudes. They train because they need to make their body fit for the sport. And that might be ironic that I say this and we're talking about body standards and what an aesthetic physique looks like. But that goes to show that you could train purely for athleticism in your sport, let's say, and you're still gonna be pretty fucking jacked. You're still gonna be fucking jacked. And not only will you be jacked, but you'll also unfuck your mind's standards for what a truly healthy and aesthetic physique looks like, and something that's functional as well. And you can test that out as well, you know? Let's say if you're a bodybuilder, go and upload some pictures of your physique on the gram or on Snapchat, God forbid. But just go upload some pictures of your physique, take some, you know, physique pictures. Don't fucking pose like this and like that, because it looks a bit too try hard. But maybe do like a mirror selfie of your physique. Maybe you've got a pump at the gym. Go take a picture in the mirror and upload that shit on Insta. And then if you've got the fucking balls to do what I'm about to say, which is train for athleticism, if you've got the fucking balls to lose, fuck knows, 6 kilos or more and to become athletically jacked, once you're at that point, go take some physique pictures as well. Take some mirror selfies as well, and then upload that shit on Insta. And then you'll see which ones the girls will like more. And they're most likely going to like the latter more. They're most likely going to like the version of you that's athletic, the version of you that's physically capable, that's a little bit lighter than your bodybuilding self. Because the thing is, women don't like these fucking shredded goblins. They don't like these fucking chemical lab rat lifters that make you feel shit about your physique because they're like 5% body fat and twice your size. Women don't like that shit. It's unnatural. And so, if you do make those changes, you will see it's way better. You will see women like the athletic, natural, athletically jacked physique more than the fucking bulked up or even shredded mass monster physiques that you see on Instagram and TikTok that are all over our fucking explore pages. These dick skin shredded gymfluencers that you see on your TikTok or your Instagram explore page that have a BMI of 26 plus. They've got a lot of health problems, you know? If you think not being able to scrub your back in the shower because your lats and your arms are so big that they restrict your movement, if you think that's a problem, there are way worse problems than that these gymfluencers face. Like, you know, not being able to clap cheeks, for example, you know? Not just because their cardiovascular health sucks ass, but also because their peace won't rise, you know? Because their libido is fucked. These SARMs and steroids, they fuck around with your body in ways that you can't even imagine. They're not athletic, their physique is unattractive to women. They can't even do a basic fucking task like scrub their backs in the shower. And they can't even reproduce. That's not a healthy body. That's a body that destines you for downfall. That's a body that brings your bloodline to an end. That's not a healthy body at all. And then these dirty little crab fucking dick skin shredded gymfluencers will take a piss out of someone that's below a certain weight and say that it's fucking victim weight. Like they'll make fun of, you know, guys that aren't exactly posing in front of a fucking camera, or guys that aren't exactly training to be on a stage with a bunch of slippery dudes. And these guys, these fucking gymfluencers, will take a piss out of the guys that don't train for those purposes and call them fucking victim weight. Like, victim weight my ass, you know? Fuck those guys. Those guys, those big dudes that like take a piss out of you because you're not like 180 pounds or some shit. Like, fuck those dudes. Like, how are you gonna take a piss out of someone that's way more athletic than you, most likely? And that's gonna beat the shit out of you if you said it to their face like that. If you went up to like some 160-pound dude in the gym and you know you call him victim weight and you're a nice big bulked up bodybuilder, you never know what's gonna happen, bruv. You know, you never know what's gonna happen. He won't give a shit about your size, maybe because I don't know, maybe he trained martial arts or some shit. He'll fucking knock you out cold if you say that to him. You never know who you're dealing with. And you know, the thing with social media and all these platforms is it lets people get away with saying shit that they wouldn't say to people in real life. It makes them pussies. Like, if you're one of those dude that made a post about, oh, if you're less than 180 pounds, then you're victim weight. You know what? Go to the gym, and if it's a skinny guy taking their rage out on the heavy bag, if you're truly going to be a fucking man, then go up to that guy and tell him that he's victim weight. Since you want to prove your masculinity is that bad by coming up with these fucking bullshit statements, go do that. See what happens. You know what? These same guys that take a piss out of certain people for being victim weight are the same guys that don't get pussy anyways because they're low energy fucking repulses women, you know? Those are the same guys that never get any sort of, you know, that never get any sort of validation. Why? Because their fucking energy is low. And why is their energy low? Because they're a fucking gym rat and their whole life revolves around the gym. And the woman can fucking see that when they get to know that guy. And so the guy gets no pussy because the woman sees that he's a fucking shell of a human being and hasn't lived any fucking true experiences. And Anans dries up after that. You know, she instantly loses interest for that dude she thought was like really good looking and then really got to meet, saw that he was a total fucking NPC, you know? These guys will drag you down with them and then you'll face the same problems that they do. And you'll also end up with the same health problems and getting no pussy. because you're like a fucking gym cell. Your whole life is gym, gym, gym. You're just focused on your aesthetics. You haven't lived any fucking true experiences. Maybe you haven't done like cool things with your life yet because you're just in the fucking gym all day long because you're trying to get big and look your absolute best. You'll end up repulsing the women because they see that your whole life revolves around the gym and trying to get big and jacked and looking good, rather than enjoying the beauties of life that God has to offer you. You're just spending your whole fucking time in the gym. Like, what the fuck is the point of that shit? Instead of doing your fucking bench 10 rep max PR in the gym or some other bullshit like that, maybe try see how many push-ups you can do in a row. See how many push-ups you can do in a row without gassing out or without having to take a break. See how many pull-ups or dips you can do in a row without crumbling because your body doesn't fucking work. And in doing so, you'll unfuck your mind's standards for what a truly aesthetic and healthy male physique looks like.